How's it going? Dave in Comic Book Investments. So it's time for that again. CovrPrice's weekly top 10 hottest comics. And these are comics that are just basically, flying off, people just can't get enough of them type of thing. With real sales data. And I, as a comic book dealer, and been doing this for 13 years, I have kind of a different perspective in helping you guys out there choose which is the best for investment purposes. So a lot of times there's just things on here. Most of them are just not good investments. And if they're not a good investment, I'll say buy this book instead or this or that. So let's just go right through it and then I can help you guys make better decisions. All right, first we got Marvel Premiere #1. And the reason why this is on the list is because everyone knew this, though, already. Adam Warlock is going to be in Guardians Galaxy 3. He was teased at the end of Guardians Galaxy 2. But they actually announced the actor. Usually these actors are cast way, way long in advance, but the announcement just came. So that's why this is popping up. It's actually not Adam Warlock's first appearance. That would be technically a cameo in FF66, and then first full appearance as him in FF67, and then later his first real full appearance in Thor 165, also in 166. So, but those are pretty expensive. So this is kind of like the next tier down, and that's why this one's going up like crazy. 7-day trend of 156%. Weekly top graded sale of 1,975. Units sold is 34. If we look at it, cool cover. I think it's Gil Kane who did this cover. And we can look down here and we can see, let's see what a 9.8 goes for. Looking at around last 9.8 sold for 5,500. Not very many 9.8s. I will tell you that. Why? Because it has that black cover. Really hard to get a 9.8. Looking at 9.6s, September 1 sold for 2,500. Let's see if we can get a little closer sales data. All right, here we go. We got a 9.2 sold for almost $2,000. But it sold for 2,400 a little bit ago. But even if you went back to June and July and May when comics had a huge boom, it's almost doubled since then. In my opinion, this is a good book to have, right? Has that hard black cover, pretty cool cover with Adam Warlock on the front. You got Thor and Hulk. Hulk's obviously the best, But I digress. All right. So that's a good, strong buy. I recommend it. All right. Number 9, Philadelphia, #12. This came out recently. Why is this on the list, right? Well, it was optioned back in 2020. Nothing happened. Surprise, surprise. Let me tell you, a lot of these books get optioned because people want content. Like I said, the big companies, you got Marvel and DC, they are owned by DC or Disney and Warner Brothers. So you can't ever option Spider-Man, right? Well, technically the film rights to Spider-Man is Sony. But they bought that a long time ago. So there's always film and TV trying to option anything they can. The reason why this is going up, it got optioned, nothing really happened to it, is because Todd McFarlane lent his pen and ink to this. So that's pretty cool. Very cool art, I would have to say. I mean, I can see the Todd McFarlane in there, but looks a little more different than what he normally does. Pretty gruesome. So that's why that's on this list. Not too much other than that. But there are instances where, if you do a run of Conan or something like that, and then all of a sudden you have a Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane random issue of Conan, they're a little more expensive than the previous issues where, they didn't have a huge artist. So Todd McFarlane lending his artistry to this will increase the value compared to the other ones. That's all I say. But as a whole, is this series going to be huge? I don't know. I'm assuming this is... I literally know nothing about this book. I'm going to tell you that right now. But from the looks of it, I'm assuming it's a vampire. I'm assuming. I don't know. I feel like the whole zombie vampire thing, not so much vampires, but zombies have kind of waned in popularity. Go back like 10 years ago, they were super popular. But yeah, so moving on to number 8. And we got the Eternals. It's always on this list. 7-day trend, 145%. Weekly top graded sale, 3,200. Units sold, 32. So yeah, I mean, this is getting really popular. Why? Because the movie is about to come out. It's just right around the corner, right? We're in October, so it'll be November, I believe. So right around the corner. If we look at recent 9/8 sales, we had one sell for 3,200 and then the same day sell for $3,000. We had a recent sale of $2349.95. I'm assuming that is an auction book because it's such a weird number. We also had 2,600. Look at this. On the 15th, one sells for 2,300. And then literally 2 days prior to that, it was 3,200 and $3,000. So they're kind of all over the place. These are very common books. You go on eBay and they are everywhere. Hundreds of copies of them. So if we look back, May, one sold for 33, one sold for 3,800 in May. So it still hasn't beat its peak. It's not even really getting better, to be honest. It's kind of just floating around the same because you see it's like 26, 22, then $2,000, 2,500, and you're like, oh, it's going up, then 3, then 32, and then boom, right back down to 2,200, 2,300. So it actually started the month off at 26, ended the month so far at 23. So all over the place. Is it better than the previous month of September? This 600, I don't think it's real. We've got 22 and 26. And it's about the same. Previous month before that, you got a low of 22.75 and a high of 29. About the same. So it hasn't really moved much. And if you look at other grades like a 9.6, you're looking at 830, and one recently sold for 690. I mean, but if you went the previous month, you had a high of 914 and a low. It's about the same. It really hasn't moved much. So I just think there's just too much supply. That being said, do I think it's a good book? Yes, I do. Moving on. Number 7. Got Fantastic Four 66. 7-day trend, 163%. Top weekly sale, $9.95 graded. And then units sold, 36. This is, like I said, Adam Warlock. His first real appearance was as him, and he cameoed in 66. This is probably just going up because a lot of people might not be able to afford FF67 or Thor 165. So this is kind of like the next best thing. And also for percentage values, you know, if you have a book that goes up, you know, it's $1,000, and in order to go up 10%, it has to go up $100. You know, if something's, you know, $100, to go up 10%, and it has to go up $10. So that's why this book's on here. I recommend this book, but I think if you should get either FF67 or Thor 165, if possible. If not, this is fine too. All right, moving on. You got Youngbloods, number 2, pink logo. Yeah, why is this popular? This was on the list last time. I think it was on the number 1 spot. Jake Gyllenhaal is cast at the Prophet, and this is the first appearance of the Prophet. Has a 7-day trend of 168%. Weekly graded sale 400, and then it's got units sold 51. Let's jump into the numbers a little bit and see what is going on with this book. So yeah, that's why it's popping off, because they're trying to make movies. So let's see, graded sales. Has it gone up since the week earlier? So I think last week would have been around here. So it's selling for like 270, 265. Yeah, it's gone up a little bit. Let's see if a 9.6 is any different. Yep, it's trending upwards. Let's see, raw. This is trending downwards. So lots of units being sold down to barely anything at all. So is that good? Is that bad? I don't really know. But it looks like the price is a little higher than the week previous. The issue with these comics is, you know, during this time there was a lot being made. But overall, do I think it's a bad get? Not really. I don't think it's a bad get. You know, all right, moving on. We got Superman. What is it? Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 2. All right. So why is this popular? So I did a video on it, and if you haven't heard, the Superman's son, Jonathan Kent, or John Kent, is bisexual. I don't know why they keep saying that. Just say he's gay. I mean, whatever. So he's bisexual, and this is the first appearance of Jay Nakamura, which is the boy he was kissing on that picture. I mean, I don't think this is not going to be anything in the future, just being honest. Like, I mean, that's about it. It won't really be much of anything. It's going to be hot right now, but I wouldn't even, not even. It's up 242%. Weekly raw grade sale of $17. Units sold 42. What do these books sell for new? Let's see if I can price. $5. All right, so this is $5. It's up weekly top sale of 17. So you tripled your money, but not really, because after listing on eBay and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to really make anything. As you see, it's going up, boom, drop down, but that's probably because that's today. Let's see what's going on here. October. When did this book come out? August. So it's been out for a while. Okay, so $5, and it's now selling for 19, 17, 12, 12, 10, 10. Yeah, so like even if you get it for $5, new, sell for 10, minus eBay fees, minus all the fees, all that stuff. Unless you're selling it somewhere else, you walk away with $5. Do I think this is going to be anything in the future? Nope. All right. And the reason why, I will explain why later on in a bit. Warlock and the Infinity Watch. This is up 151%. Weekly top raw sale, $35. Units sold 106. Jesus, quite a bit. This is up there because people that can't afford the Marvel Premiere 1 have to just keep working their way down. And this is the next book. You can also get, there's other Warlock comics out there that you can get, but this is the one that people want. So do I think it's that bad of a deal? Not. I mean, you need to get yourself like a graded like 9.8, 9.6. And you also have to think, if I'm the comic book investment channel. So investment purposes, long term, unless you got a 9.8 of this, maybe a 9.6, it's probably not the best investment. All right, Son of Kal-El, number 1. All right, Superman, Son of Kal-El. Sorry, I was reading that weird. This is where John Kent, I guess, it's the story arc starts. This is the first issue. They're also, is this the one where they're changing from, was it Truth, Justice, and America Way to Truth, Justice, and a Better Tomorrow? Is this that book? I watched Ethan Van Sciver, and he was talking about how the reason why they do all these changes to Superman and iconic characters is not because they're trying to, well, part of it is the woke stuff, but not so much. It's also that since Superman's so old, that a lot of his stuff falls into public domain based off of copyright. And so they have to, Truth, Justice, and the America Way, they copywrote that, but that fell out in like mid-2000s or something, mid-2010s or something. And so they can no longer, they can use it, but anyone can. I could literally write it on a t-shirt. I could do all that stuff. So that's why they're constantly changing things. That's why they always change different things about people, because they have to in order to make, like, they'll change the S because after a while the S is no longer, it falls in public domain and anyone can use that Superman S. So they're always changing the costume, they're always trying to change this, things like that. And, Superman's from the 1930s. So eventually a lot of his stories and things are going to be in the public domain, which means anyone can use it. So that's why they do a lot of this stuff. All right, moving on. Misfits City, 7-day trend of 807%. Wow, that's a big number. I haven't seen that before. It's from Boom Studios. Weekly top raw sale, $50. Units sold 24. So Deadline is reporting that Misfits City is in the works at HBO. I happen to like HBO. I think they make good stuff. That's the only reason why this is popping up. That's pretty much it. So, but here's the thing. All right, time to drop some knowledge down. Just because, I've always said this, just because it's optioned, just because it's in the works, all that stuff, does not mean it'll be made. Doesn't. And just because it gets made doesn't mean it'll be picked up. I did a video on Sixth Gun. Didn't get picked up, even though a pilot was made. Also, just because everything gets made does not mean the comic will go up in value. Here's a prime example. Here's Men in Black, where they make 3 movies, 4 movies, something like that. A cartoon, video games, tons of like merch, toys, all that kind of stuff. Where is it today? Right here. Men in Black. First appearance. I bet you guys didn't know that. This Men in Black, the movie that everyone loves, is actually from a comic book. You're looking at a 9.4 for $206. A 9.6 fold for $203. Not that many 9.8s out there. But, back in 2012, I think they already had their 3rd movie out. It went up to $400. It's not that expensive. Like, it hasn't really gone up. Like, I know Men in Black hasn't been around, whatever, but it had all that stuff made. I mean, the last movie came out, I think, around 2012. And look, it didn't really give it too much of a jump. 250 to 400. So just remember that. Just because there's something coming out doesn't mean it will come out. And if it doesn't mean it's going to be worth a ton of money. Because it has to translate in order for people wanting to collect it. Most people didn't know that Men in Black was a comic book, and most people that are into comics probably just don't care. All right, so last one, number 1, we got Superman Son of Kal-El. Number 2, the first one was a variant, and this one is the non-variant. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah. I don't think this is going to really be worth much of anything. I'll tell you why. I told this about Robin. So if we look out on this is his coming out storyline. So North Star was the first major character in the Marvel universe to come out as gay. This is he first appeared with Alpha Flight in X-Men 120. This is his coming out book, right? You can pick up a 9.8 most recent sale, $57. 9.6, $30. Not even the same. It's cost case. The cost to case it, $30, $50. It's not worth anything. All these years later, came out in 92. It peaked at one point for $200. And now it's down to $57. It's not worth anything. Long-term investment, this won't be worth anything either. That's just how it's going to go. Maybe if there's some rare variants that's super, only made a small print run, maybe. But in the end, it's not going to be. And also the first appearance of his lover won't do anything either. No one will care down the line. If you want to get something that is related to this story arc and, his coming out story and Jonathan Kent, all that stuff, get his first appearance. Convergence Superman number 2. If you want to go for this. This is what you need to go for. This is his first appearance right here. So do not go for these. These are going to be nothing. I'm showing you right again. Look at Alpha Flight. Nothing. And what's funny is they came out with this book 24 issues later, which I'm assuming they might have come out twice a month back then. So a year to 2 years later, it ended at, 130? 130 was the last issue. So a year or two later, they canceled the series. So it didn't even help the book back then, and it's not going to help these books now, help them sell. Because eventually, if they don't sell, right? If people aren't reading them, they're not going to make them. So it has to sell. So, like I said, if you're going to get one, get this one right here. Is there a variant of it? Here's a variant right here. Kind of cool. This is also kind of cool. I like this image. Anyways, that's it. I hope this helps. Let's run through them real quick. Do not get, I mean, that's literally, this is gambling. Like, it could be good, it could be bad. I don't really know. My gut feeling is saying no. Like, I'm not buying this. Do not get. You could get, if you can get yourself like a cheap raw copy. No reason to get. Sure, why not? Yes. There's just so many out there. I have a feeling that this is going to go down, but then it'll eventually go up. So in the short term, don't get, but long term, yes, get. If you like this cover, I guess. And yes. So, and if you notice, a lot of these times, all the new stuff, I'm always saying, yeah, don't pass. But on the old stuff, I'm saying get. There's a reason for that, because the newer stuff is literally like a penny stock, right? 99% of the time, it's not going to work out. Probably more than that, 99.99%. It's not going to work out. And then the 0.0001% of the time, it does work out. And you got like that ultimate Fallout 4, right? But everything, like, you forget there's hundreds of comics released every month, and most of them don't go anywhere. So, I mean, think about this. This comic right here, this was like always in the dollar bin. Like, no one touched this comic ever. Like, it's just now something happened to it. And when this come out? 92. 30 years later, and this finally is going up in value. Think about that. 30 years later, right? And what were you going to, like, let's see if there's any graded sales. It's $180 30 years later, right? What was this selling for? Its whole life. Here's 2018, $70, $60. Oh, here's $100. And that's just probably because, Adam Warlock showed up in the Guardians 2. And then it's like, oh, here's $19. Pretty much nothing. These are all graded 9/8. Now $225, right? Yeah, it took years. And this is, I guarantee if you went further back, it would just be like case cost, basically. So, or in 30 years, instead of buying this book for, whatever came out for $1, you could have just bought a Spider-Man 1, Fantasy 15 for like 30 years ago, like $500. And what is that worth now? Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Most of these comics are not going to be worth anything. So that's why I'm here to help you out and make better decisions on your investment. But as always, if you like the comic, buy the comic. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not to tell people what to like, read, or all that stuff. I'm here just as investment purposes. All right. Have a good night.